Brave rescue team saves German Shepherd from giant snake's deadly coils, the deadly embrace. Hey there, folks. I'm Toño Ramírez, firefighter from Station 7 in Cuernavaca. I'm going to tell you something that happened to us just 2 weeks ago that still gives me goosebumps when I remember it. One of those things that makes you value every damn day you wake up alive. You know what I mean? It all started on a Tuesday at 5:40 in the morning. We were finishing our 24-hour shift, those shifts that leave you completely worn out. Freckles and I were having a quick coffee while Fat Mendoza snored like a bear on his cot. "That damn Gordo," Freckles said as he sipped his coffee. "He makes a racket even in his dreams." Suddenly, the alarm went off like crazy. We looked at each other with that, "Damn it," just when we were about to leave, face. The dispatcher, Lupita, had an agitated voice. "Unit 7, we have an emergency in Los Ahuehuetes ravine. A family reports that their dog has been caught by a large snake. They need immediate assistance." "A snake?" Freckles scratched his head. "Isn't that animal control's job?" "They're on another emergency," Lupita replied. "Besides, they report that the snake is huge and the dog is in mortal danger." Gordo jumped up as if he had never been asleep. "Well, no choice, boys. Let's get to it." We grabbed the basic rescue equipment, including snake hooks and first aid equipment for animals. Commander Lopez joined us at the last moment. "This smells fishy to me," he said as we climbed into the unit. "There aren't snakes big enough in Cuernavaca to swallow a dog." "Maybe they exaggerated," I replied, turning on the siren. "Oh, you know how people are when it comes to their pets." Los Ahuehuetes ravine is a narrow canyon on the outskirts of the city with dense vegetation and a stream running along the bottom. When we arrived, an entire family was at the entrance to the path that goes down to the ravine. A woman in her 50s was crying inconsolably while a boy of about 12 hugged her. "Thank God you're here." A man wearing a hat came running up. My German Shepherd, Sultan, was chasing a rabbit and went into the ravine. When I went down to look for him, I found him being attacked by a gigantic snake. I tried to help him, but that thing almost bit me too. "What kind of snake was it, sir?" asked the commander. "I don't know about critters," the man replied, wiping the sweat from his forehead with a handkerchief. "But it was as thick as my leg and green with spots. I've never seen anything like it around here." Gordo and Freckles exchanged glances. "A python," Gordo murmured. "Or a boa," I answered. "Someone must have abandoned it when it grew too big." The description didn't match any snake native to the area. The commander radioed animal control to send someone with reptile knowledge as soon as possible. "How long ago did this happen?" I asked the man. "About half an hour," he replied, and I could see the terror in his eyes. "My Sultan is still alive. I heard him howl a little while ago." There was no time to lose. The commander stayed coordinating with animal control while Gordo, Freckles and I went down the path with flashlights and equipment. The ravine was like a separate world. The air felt heavy, loaded with humidity and that smell of wet earth and decomposing vegetation. As we descended, the sound of the city disappeared, replaced by the murmur of water and the singing of early birds. "Did you hear that?" Freckles suddenly stopped. In the distance, we could hear a moan, the unmistakable lament of a dog in agony. "Over there!" Gordo pointed, aiming his flashlight toward some bushes next to the stream. What we saw froze my blood. A huge snake, shiny as oil under the light of our flashlights, had a German Shepherd coiled up. The poor animal was panting, with eyes bulging from terror and pain, while the snake tightened its rings more and more around its torso. "Holy Mother of God!" exclaimed Gordo. "That thing must be like 16 feet long." It was a reticulated python. I knew it instantly. It wasn't native to Mexico. Someone had abandoned it, probably when it grew too big to keep as a pet. And now it was using its deadly technique, squeezing until the prey can no longer breathe. "Sultan won't last much longer," I said, taking out the snake hooks. "We need to act now." Freckles took out his phone. "I'm going to record this. Nobody will believe us if we don't have proof." "Put that damn thing away and help us." Gordo snapped at him as we cautiously approached. The snake detected us. It raised its triangular head with those cold, calculating eyes while continuing to squeeze the dog. Sultan looked at us as if pleading for help and let out a weak moan that broke my heart. "We're going to surround it," I indicated. "Gordo, you go left with the big hook. Freckles, you distract the head. I'm going to try to uncoil it starting from the tail." "What if we just wait for animal control?" asked Freckles, swallowing hard. "By the time they get here, Sultan will be dead," I replied. "Besides, we're firefighters, man. This is what we do." We approached cautiously. The python hissed, showing its forked tongue. It was a spine-chilling sound, like a pressurized gas leak. The musky smell it gave off was strong, almost dizzying. "On the count of 3, I whispered. 1, 2, 3. Gordo hooked the snake's neck, keeping it away while Freckles waved a branch in front of its head to distract it. I began working on the tail, trying to loosen its deadly grip on the dog. It was like fighting a living fire hose. The snake's muscles were pure strength, tense as steel cables. For every turn I managed to loosen, it tensed another part of its body. "I can't hold it!" Gordo suddenly shouted. The hook had slipped, and the snake, furious, launched its head at him. "Watch out!" I shouted, but it was too late. The python didn't bite Gordo, but it gave him a whiplash with the middle part of its body that sent him flying against a tree. He fell like a sack of potatoes, dazed but conscious. Holy shit! Freckles was paralyzed for a second. "Keep distracting it," I ordered him, as I redoubled my efforts with the snake's tail. Poor Sultan was barely moving anymore. His eyes were getting glassy, and his breathing was getting weaker and weaker. I was overcome with a rage I hadn't felt in years. I wasn't going to let him die, not on my watch. With a strength I didn't know I had, I put my hands under the snake's coils and began to pull with everything I had. My muscles burned, the veins in my neck seemed about to burst. "Toño, watch out!" Freckles shouted. The snake had partially released the dog and was now directing its attention toward me. Its head swayed hypnotically in front of my face, inches away. I could see every scale, every detail of its half-open jaws. At that crucial moment, we heard voices and footsteps approaching. It was Commander Lopez with the animal control people. A skinny guy with glasses and a girl with a green cap were running down the path. "Don't move!" shouted the guy with glasses. "It's an adult reticulated python." "No kidding, genius," I replied through clenched teeth, not daring to take my eyes off the snake. The animal control girl approached with slow but confident movements. She carried a special hook and a large canvas bag. "Firefighter, when I tell you, release the tail and duck," she instructed me with a surprisingly calm voice. I nodded slightly. "Now!" I threw myself to the ground as she, with surgical precision, hooked the snake's head and immobilized it against the ground. The guy with the glasses joined in, grabbing the middle part of the body. "Get the dog out," ordered the girl. Freckles and I finished uncoiling Sultan, who fell like a wet rag in my arms. He was unconscious, but still breathing. "We need to get him to a vet right now," I shouted. While the animal control people secured the snake in the canvas bag, we ran up with Sultan. His family was waiting above, with faces of anguish. "My Sultan!" the boy cried when he saw us, his eyes full of tears. "Oh, no, he's alive, but he needs urgent attention," I told them, placing the dog in the back of our unit. The father got in with us, and we left at full speed for the emergency veterinary clinic. During the trip, I improvised oxygen for Sultan and checked if he had broken bones. Miraculously, it seemed that he had withstood the deadly embrace without serious fractures, but his breathing was weak and irregular. The veterinarian met us at the door, a young doctor but with a face that showed she knew what she was doing. "Put him here," she ordered, pointing to an examination table. We spent the next 2 hours waiting. Gordo had an impressive bruise on his side but refused to go to the hospital. "I'm not leaving until I know if the dog makes it," he said, stubborn as always. Finally, the vet came out with a face of relief. "He's going to survive," she announced. "He has 3 cracked ribs and muscle damage, but he's a strong dog. With rest and medication, in a few weeks he'll be chasing rabbits again." The boy hugged his father, crying with joy. The woman approached us with wet eyes. "I don't know how to thank you," she said, taking my hands in hers. "You saved a member of our family." "It's our job, Mom," Gordo responded, puffing out his chest despite the pain. When we returned to the station, it was almost noon. We had extended our shift by 6 more hours, were dirty, in pain and exhausted, but we also felt that satisfaction that only comes from knowing you made a difference. Later, we learned that the python had been an illegal pet. Its owner abandoned it when it grew too big, and it had been living in the ravine for months, feeding on local wildlife. Animal control sent it to a reptile sanctuary in Veracruz. That night, at home, my wife asked me why I was smiling as I watched the local news reporting on our rescue. "I was just thinking," I told her, "how curious our job is. In the morning, you never know if you're going to put out a fire, rescue someone from an overturned car, or fight a giant snake for a dog's life." She kissed me on the forehead. "That's why I love you, Toño. Because you're a crazy guy who's not afraid of anything. But the truth is, I was afraid, scared as hell when I saw those cold reptile eyes fix on me. The difference is that there are things more important than fear, like the sparkle in that kid's eyes when he learned his Sultan was going to live, like knowing we did the right thing, even though it was dangerous. And that's why tomorrow I'll put on the uniform again. Because in this job, every day could be the day you do something that really matters." Did Sultan recover completely? Of course he did. 2 weeks later, the family invited us to a barbecue at their house, and there was the dog, still limping a little, but wagging his tail like crazy when he saw us arrive, as if he knew exactly who we were and what we had done for him. And that, my friends, is the best payment a firefighter can receive.